Okay, so this video is going to be just a real quick overview of what I have at my home studio setup. A lot of people over the years kind of ask what I do at home for my work, and this is what this will be. I tend to make a little one of these every few years just to show any updates to the equipment. So there's the chair I sit in. I've kind of pulled it back for the sake of this video. I've got little sound dampening panels all over the place just to help with the sound quality. I'll keep a calendar with all my stuff on the wall, and then the posters or other work-related stuff kind of varies what else is on the wall. Before I talk about what's on the desk, underneath it I have a uninterruptible power supply, some various hard drives, a subwoofer, which is the exact same one in the classroom, and the PC tower. I also keep a file cabinet for important stuff, and I'll talk about all of these bits in a second. Up on top of the desk above where I keep my keyboard and mouse, I also have a few different things. So this device is a pad controller for entering data into usually Studio One, but other programs as well. I can arrange these pads. Right now they're set up just like a normal keyboard, but I can arrange them to be however I want in terms of what's active and what's not. But again, this is just like a normal keyboard layout at the moment. The thing I really like about it is I can shift it up and down if I remember where to do that, but we'll worry about that later. But I can do a bunch of different stuff, and all of these knobs control different things in the Studio One software. Immediately behind that is the a mixer I have here. So we have a smaller version of this in the classroom. That one only has 8 sliders instead of 16 like this. But basically this can be used to adjust levels of different audio tracks. It also has some control features for Studio One, just like this device. So I mainly utilize these devices in order to navigate my audio editing stuff. I'm gonna sit down in the chair now, and up here on the main monitor, so I have this monitor right here is the main kind of one I look at, mostly because my camera is right there and the speakers are right here. These are the same size, exact same speakers as in the classroom. I've got the 2 up top and the subwoofer down below. And then coincidentally, these small monitors are the same ones that we also have in the STEM center in the classroom. That was just a happy coincidence. I have a larger 4K monitor over here that would be my main monitor, but it's just too big to fit in the space with everything, so it lives kind of over here to the side. And then I've got a vertical monitor that's just useful for putting other stuff out of the way, or sometimes if I have a bunch of really tall things, I can work with that. So I've got these 3 monitors. I could hook up 2 more to this if I really wanted to. For anyone who cares about my settings, let's see, where do you live? About my PC. We're just gonna do this. About your PC. So there are the stats for my PC if you so care to look. They're pretty good. I got the most high-end parts I could afford whenever I built the PC. So that's there. I think I've got a total of 4. I got 10 terabytes of storage on this thing with an additional 12 in a backup drive. So I've got a fair bit of supplies. Working down here, this red outlined box is my audio interface. So this is what I connect microphones to in order to handle all of the input and output of different stuff. So I've got my main microphone right here. We don't have this one in the STEM Center, but it's a good one. You may recognize it from different people and streamers and whatnot, but this controls pretty much all of the microphone inputs and outputs. You can kind of see that as I talk, the other microphone is picking up the levels, and you can kind of see a representation of that there. I've got another microphone here on the desk, which is similar to how we have it set up in the booth, so I can turn it on and talk directly into someone's headphones while I'm pressing this button. So that's all there. These help me reach around to something we'll point out a little bit later. But then this box here is very handy because it controls my speakers, so I can very easily control my speaker volume. You notice it kind of got a little loud because my voice is also right next to the microphone, so you might notice that coming up just a little bit as I bring it down. I can also, mute things, make a mono, make it quieter, switch between different outputs and different inputs if I really want to. Other than that, on the desk, I usually just keep some generic office supplies. I've got a little stream deck here for shortcuts and handy tools, coasters for coffee and the like, and all of that. Over here, as you look towards my main living room in the background, I've got a full 88-sized keyboard. It is fully weighted, so it feels like a keyboard. I've also got a cat named Bean who is saying hi. Hi, Bean. Oh, now you're ignoring me. Oh, thank you. Thank you. Okay, so this is used for a lot like this and the keyboards we use. This doesn't make any sound by itself, but I can use it to enter in note and chord data whenever I do music projects in various softwares. Behind it, I kind of just use as more of a storage space. So right now I've got mostly some cables and a few tools just kind of taking up space, and a bunch of headphones. So the main headphones I use actually live down below here. So these are the main ones I use for projects. I think they're probably some of the best ones I've bought. I can talk about them all more specifically later if you have questions. And then one with a single side, so that way I can still hear stuff but very easily hear what else is going on in the room. The ones here on the racks, I've got 3 headphone racks that all have this fun kind of RGB lighting on them, but also are connected to power so I can plug stuff in. But I have 6 other pairs of headphones, and they're all used for slightly different things. I think these ones are probably the closest to what we have in the classroom, but I usually prefer to work in order. This one for most of my listening, followed by the red ones over here, just because it's a different kind of headphone. It uses a different mechanism. And then those black ones I mentioned here. This one is fun because it can swap between different modes, so it can sound like really good speakers or really bad ones. It just kind of depends on what you want to set it to. These wooden ones right here on the end, I mostly just use for casual listening and not for like serious editing. That's more of a, if I'm just listening to something for fun, or I can pull it up at the end after I'm kind of close to everything else. These white ones over here, I used a lot more when I first got them, but after I got these ones down here, they come up with a similar niche, so I may swap them out periodically, but generally I stick with this brand, although these white ones are also pretty nice. Okay, so now I've just got this kind of rack at the bottom. So over here, that's just a pile of assorted crap from other projects that just kind of lives there. So it's usually things I'll periodically need while working here and just kind of pull out and grab. Alright, so this is just some assorted storage space up here, nothing crazy, but this is a rack of a bunch of different equipment, and I don't normally have it all on at once, but for the sake of this video, and you could point it out, I have turned it all on. So up top, this is the power supply, so I can turn the whole rack here on and off if I want. So that's kind of handy. Underneath that, those are all of those 8 headphones I've pointed out, so you can see the output audio from my computer is coming in. And since I have that microphone connected, it's responding to me talking. Hello. And so on. So I can turn that up, and then I can turn up each of these headphones individually. So if I have people recording anything in this room, they can either use one of mine if they have a specific kind they like, or if they have brought their own, I can just plug it into there and turn it up, and there we go. So here now you can see I've turned up headphone 8. This happens to be those casual listening ones I mentioned before on the end there, and so on. This is an amplifier. It's really hard to see, but I actually have a second pair of speakers hiding back here. These speakers are made to mimic, just really bad sounding speakers, and this is the amplifier that drives all of them. Working our way down, this is the older version of that audio interface that I pointed out before. They're just expensive, and even though I don't really have a reason to use 2 of them, it's worth holding on to just in case. So I just moved it down here. So this gives me an additional 8 microphone inputs. Underneath that is a card that is actually connected to this one over here, which just expands it. So now I can plug in a total of 16 microphones into here, utilizing this box down low. And basically I just say, hey, turn on that microphone input, maybe give it a little bit of compression or other stuff, you know, settings, things like that. It just expands it. Working our way down to the third from the bottom, we have this unit right here, this silver one. And basically what this does is this contains a ton of audio effects built into it, so I can set that up to process whatever sound comes in. So it is worked out at the moment that there are certain outputs on this box up top that go into inputs, you know, these 2 inputs here, which are used to you know, alter the sound, and those outputs come out and go into, I got that backwards, it's going directly from the expansion box into the gray box, and then the gray box comes out through these cables into inputs 13 and 14. So basically I can play sound and record the output from this box to get a processed version. It's pretty handy. But in terms of handy, the bottom 2 are probably my favorite. So this black one right here with these cables plugged into it is designed for exactly that. So a lot of bigger audio interfaces like this have most of the inputs on the back of the box. In fact, this expansion has them all on the back. That makes it a real pain to access. So what I've done is put a patch bay here. So now I've got little shorter cables connecting from the back of this box into the inputs of this guy and this guy. That's what this is, these cables here. So now I can just plug in right here on the bottom of my rack. So this is the input for the microphone that we were looking at up top. This one over here is the microphone on the desk, and so on and so forth. So I can really easily just, you know, plug in, move things around as needed. So if I brought up input number 7, we might see, I don't think I have to do this. There we are. We can see now that 7 is popping up because that's this microphone instead of 3. So I'm just going to turn that off because I don't need that power, and put this back to the normal setup, and so on. So I can very easily just plug stuff in right down here from where I'm working. You know, typity, 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 ooh, work stuff, there you go, great. This last bit is just a storage chest that's full of a bunch of crap. So that's the general overview of all my stuff. I have way over, you can't see it, and I'm not going to walk over there, but a ton more equipment, you know, cables, the actual microphones. I have all the other stuff that's kind of in storage bins over there because this is a fairly compact area. So that's pretty much it. I'm gonna just wrap this little short, you know, tour of my workstation at home. So now if you're ever on a video chat with me in an office hour, or you're watching my more recent videos that I've made, you'll see this exact setup. So that's going to be it from me, and I will see you all the next time that I see you. Bye.